Hi, my name's Richard Withers, Apprentice for Admiral Scaffolding. I'd like to tell you a bit about how I got started here. Originally, when I left school, which is slightly earlier than I should have, I left at the age of 14 because I think, to be honest, education just wasn't for me. So I went on to a course, if you like, that's called Education to Earning, where I learned the very basic ways of life, such as making a cup of tea, which I do have a certificate for now, which works out quite good in this trade. That's why I probably got started in any trade, because I had a certificate in making tea. Moving on, so once I finished that, I then managed to get my hands on working part-time for an electrical firm, just helping someone out and deciding whether that might be a route for me. So I'd done that for a couple of months, and then I decided that definitely could be a route for me, and I was really enjoying what I was doing. So I spoke to them about maybe putting me on an apprenticeship, and they were keen to have me anyway, so they took me on full-time and put me on this apprenticeship. And I was doing that for 3 years, so I really enjoyed what I was doing, and I got really far in it, and I was one exam away from completing my apprenticeship, and unfortunately the firm, because it kicked in with the recession, the firm had to go bust, or into liquidation if you like, and I lost my job as a result of that, and I didn't get an opportunity to finish the apprenticeship. So when that happened, I worked my backside off to try and find a new job in electrics to try and finish and just get this apprenticeship finished, because I'd spent 3 years on it, and it was something I really wanted to do. I was really looking forward to being a qualified electrician and giving the same back to all the people that had given me the opportunity and the training I needed. I wanted to give to someone else. Unfortunately not. So I tried to find a job, and I was knocking on doors, sending endless amounts of CVs everywhere I could, but given the current time no one was taking on anyone, especially in my current position as well, where I was not quite an electrician but not quite an apprentice either. So it was very hard for me to find a job. So as a result of that, I was lucky enough that my father and family, if you like, run a scaffolding business, and they could give me temporary work just to keep money coming in for me while I was looking for this new job. So I got CSCS card, which basically means that you're able to go and work and labour on sites for scaffolders. So I was doing that, and I think I was probably doing that for about 3 months, and it appeared to me that, hang on a minute, this could be another opportunity for me. I was enjoying the work, I was enjoying the way it was going, I was learning, and for something that I wasn't really interested in, the way I was learning, how quickly I was learning it, I would have been stupid not to take this opportunity. So I spoke to the heads of Admiral about putting me on the apprenticeship, and they said that they asked me if that's definitely something I want to do, because they don't want to put me on it and then halfway through I decided it isn't. So I got time to think about it, and I just it was a no-brainer for me. Definitely wanted to do it, so they put me on it. Took me a while to so I had to do a basic English and maths test, which was, I have to say, very basic, but I passed that with flying colours, and then a little while after that I managed to get on my 2-week induction with the college. So got that out of the way, and then it worked on you do 3 months on site, and then you go back for 2 weeks at college, go through your courses, which goes induction, part 1A, part 1B, part 2A, part 2B, and then the final assessment. And you complete that over a year. And every time I was going there, in the class I was in, this isn't me bragging about myself, but I'd like to say I was the best in it by a long way. And I didn't just get myself through the course, I also helped the others getting through the course. I was just really enjoying myself. Every time I went there I felt confident in going there, and I knew what I was talking about to the degree and what I was learning at the current stage. Every stage I went back, I would say I was at the stage I should have been, and maybe a little bit further. So what I currently do for Admiral now, because I am a Part 2 scaffolder, so more responsibilities naturally put on me, which I'm welcoming with open hands. I'm currently on a job at the minute which consists of putting up scaffolds the front and back of, I think, 73 in total different houses. So in effect, that's like, we have the site manager and everything, but we're not always dealing with him. Sometimes we're dealing with the residents themselves. So it's in effect like having 73 different clients. So dealing with different people, being able to adapt and, you know, adapt your personalities and the way you deal with people all in different ways, which can only be good for anyone. I work with a charge hand and a labourer, and my charge hand, I always ask him, rather than him just doing all the thinking, if I get the opportunity to do the thinking, because I want to be able to be at his level as soon as possible, which he again welcomes with open hands. And a lot of the time, because he is a charge hand and he has various different things he has to do, like sometimes he has to go for meetings, sometimes he has to do paperwork, so he has to trust me anyway, and he puts me in the positions that, not, I won't say sink or swim, but where I have to think for myself, which is brilliant for me. A lot of the time I have to be the person in charge, and so far everything's been so good, because the site manager has requested that he only has us until the completion of the job now, because he's happy with everything we've done so far. He's happy when the charge hand is there, and he's happy when I'm acting as charge hand, which is great. Every single resident we've dealt with in the right ways. When we turn up there in the morning to put a scaffold up at the front of their house, we'll knock on the door, and the charge hand also makes me do that now, because he says he has the experience in it. It's now my time to learn, which again I open. Over the past year, I've taken the opportunities to get involved in the specialist training, so going on certain courses, such as I've done a hacky course, I've done an IPAF ticket, and I've also done PTS training, which has benefited me loads, and, you know, always hungry to learn more, so hopefully in the future there'll be more for me to learn and take on board. Admiral offer opportunities to work inconvenient hours and, you know, times where no one would even dream of working, and these opportunities for me, they are golden opportunities that I will always take. Any time I can learn a little bit more and put a little bit more time into, I will take that. Two jobs that stick out in my mind. One was working nights, and this was on, it was called the London Fashion Week, which basically Admiral has this specialist division that it's called Admiral Structural Gallery, which what they do is they put up scaffolding for events and visual merchandising, let's say, and all sorts of things like that. So a lot of these times when you do these jobs, they require drawings. So getting the opportunity to just get a taste of what it's like to work from a drawing, that's an opportunity for any apprentice, any scaffolder, whatever, they should always want to take. And so I've taken that. And also the other job that was a massive opportunity for me, where I got to work on the underground, and this was over Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Now, I know they're the days that, you know, everyone wants to spend with their family, but with me, to go on a job like that, you know, wasn't just the money, you earn good money, but to go on a job and you work underground, and it was my first time working underground as well, after just getting a ticket, and I want to get all the experience I can, because with working underground, it does work on experience as to how high up you can go. You have to get experience each time you go. Then you've got almost like a logbook that you have to get signed by the site supervisor there who's running the job, to say that you've had an experience working underground. So if you keep getting it, when you get a certain amount, you can then apply for another spot, a higher up spot, and also become eventually the supervisor of your firm. So when you go out there, you are the leading man, and so obviously that's something I want. Something I think I noticed for myself with scaffolding was scaffolding not only just is fitting and tube or hacky systems or anything like that. There's a lot more that comes with it, such as putting a scaffold alarm on it to protect it, maybe putting lights on the tubes for public reasons. And these are things, with my electrical background, that I thought with maybe a little bit more training in the certain areas, that is something that I think I could benefit Admiral, and Admiral could benefit from me by me having the ability to do those sorts of things. So again, with the help of Admiral, they took that on board what I said, because I spoke to the head departments of Admiral about it, and they put me on the appropriate training for it, and now that's something I can also offer to Admirals. So I now put scaffold alarms on Admirals jobs, and not just Admirals jobs all the time. And I had to dedicate a bit more of my time, such as weekends, so I could get these courses out of the way. And I was more than willing to do that, because again, like I've said before, every opportunity that Admiral gives me, I want to take, because they're willing to put the time into me, so I'm willing to put the time into them. It's just been, over the past year, it's been brilliant for me. The amount I've got under my belt, I can only be happy with. And in hindsight, when I look at, when I very first started work and I lost that job and how heartbroken I was, to looking at it now, I would say that potentially could have been the best thing that ever happened to me.